his magnificent collection for our viewers to see. And I do feel sorry for the viewers because you're not seeing it in color the way we are. And there are a riot of colors, all shapes and sizes. Dr. Govindachari, we've heard of orchids and, it summons up a picture of exotic lands and Amazon forests and this type of thing. But what is an orchid exactly? Can you tell us that?
An orchid is a plant which belongs to the family Orchidaceae, which is the largest family of flowering plants, comprising some 80 tribes, some 800 genera, and about 25,000 species. The basis for classifying a plant as an orchid is naturally based on flower structure. Any botanical classification is based on flower structure. The two most important characteristics of an orchid flower are the presence of a flower has three segments, outer segments called the sepals, and three inner segments called the petals. And invariably, one petal is modified in a very, very curious way into what is called a labellum or lip. And very often, the labellum or lip is the most attractive part of the flower. It is very intensely colored. And the another important feature of an orchid is the presence of both the male and female reproductive parts in a feature called the column, which lies in the center of the flower. At the top of the column, you have a concave surface called the stigma, under which the ovaries are situated. And overhanging the stigma is a number of bags containing anthers, which are called the pollinia. And very often, most often, the orchid flower tries to avoid self-fertilization. There is a flap overhanging the stigma, which keeps away the anthers from the stigma. And the fertilization has to be done through the agency of insects or birds.
But where do these orchids occur in nature? I mean, in the wild?
Orchids occur in most parts of the world, excepting probably the Antarctic continent, or probably in very, very hot regions like the Sahara Desert.
As long as it's not too hot or too cold.
They are orchids in the tropical regions, in the temperate climates, practically all over the world. And that accounts for the very large number of species, of which orchids have more than 25 to 30,000 species.
But this is very interesting, Dr. Govindachari, because you say that it's found in most parts of the world. Does that mean that a whole range of climatic conditions would be suitable for?
Yeah, orchids can be broadly divided into three classes, what are called cool-growing orchids, which require a night temperature of 50 to 55 degrees Fahrenheit. The temperate-growing orchids, which require 55 to 60, and the warm-growing orchids, which require a temperature of 60 to 65 winter night temperatures. So on this basis, you can broadly classify orchids into three categories.
But, Madras, you associate it with a rather warm climate.
Yeah, Madras is, you don't reach 65 degrees Fahrenheit even in winter. That is a great disadvantage.
That's why I wanted to ask you, is it possible to cultivate these artificially in Madras and in Bangalore, for instance?
Bangalore is a much better place for growing orchids than Madras. But even in Madras, you can grow hybrids.
Crosses. Varieties.
Actually, nowadays we have more hybrids than species. I think the number of hybrids which have been made by man amount to more than 50,000 or so. You see on the screen some of the orchids in flower in my garden. Just saw a Phalaenopsis.
What special precautions do you take against vagaries of the weather and such like? Do you have to provide an artificial environment for these orchids?
No, I just grow them in the open mostly, and provide shade by using some shade cloth, some gunny bag, made very simple very inexpensive way of cutting down light. This is a Vanda again. Which is on the
What
screen.
color is that one?
That is a deep orange.
Because our viewers cannot see it in color.
No, this is a Phalaenopsis, this is pure white. This again is a Phalaenopsis flower.
Now, do you grow these in soil, and how do you plant them in pots in soil, or how is it done?
No, usually if you grow epiphytic orchids, that is those which grow on trees, in the garden you can grow them in a medium of large charcoal pieces, which serve to anchor the roots and support the plant in an erect position. That's about all.
There's no need for manure and soil and all
No,
this.
they do. Because when you use charcoal as a medium, there are no nutrients in charcoal. It is just an inert medium. You have to provide nutrients in the form of spray by spraying a fertilizer solution periodically, once a week or twice a week.
A commercial fertilizer.
We can make up a fertilizer with urea, ammonium dihydrogen phosphate, potassium sulfate. There are many formulae, very inexpensive. Actually, it's maintaining orchids is a much cheaper thing than maintaining roses or other plants. It takes so little fertilizing.
But then you would have to know how much of it to use on which type of plant, right?
No, generally you give a broad general purpose fertilizer, say NPK 20-20-20, completely soluble in water, and use say 5 grams per 10 liters of water. That is the dilution at which I use. So very little fertilizer is actually needed.
What variety is this one, Dr. Govindachari, which we just saw?
That is an oncidium. This is what is called an oncidium luridum.
Very complicated sort of structure it has.
Yeah, it's called a dancing doll. The flower reminds you of a dancer, the flared skirt.
Now, are these plants generally attacked by common garden pests?
Yeah, they are subject to attack by insects, attack by fungal diseases or bacterial diseases. But it's fairly easy to keep them in a healthy condition by systematic spraying, say monthly spraying of an insecticide plus a fungicide will keep most of the diseases away.
How do these orchids propagate generally? Is it done by seeds or is it done by cuttings or vegetative
There
propagation?
are two ways of propagating orchids. One is by vegetative propagation. For example, what are called the monopodial orchids like Vandas grow taller every year. Sometimes they attain a height of 6 to 8 feet. You can cut the top, say about 2 feet or so, with a few aerial roots, and then put it in the fresh medium. Then it will grow independently into a big plant. Then there are what are known as caecies, that is small plantlets which are found at the top of a big orchid plant, which can be detached from the original plant and again planted in a charcoal medium. Then the other way of obtaining a large number of plants is by culturing the seeds. But these seeds cannot be usually propagated in the usual way you do for other flowers, annuals and seasonal flowers. These seeds are so tiny, a capsule may contain 1 million seeds or so. They are so tiny that they have to be special techniques used for propagation.
You have to do it under sterile conditions.
You have to put it in a sterile medium containing the usual nutrients which are necessary for growth of a plant. Do it in a sterile medium and close the flask in which you are doing the thing and then keep it aside. So otherwise, if you don't do it in a sterile area, the bacteria and fungi which are floating about in the air will contaminate the medium and then they will overtake the growth of the seeds.
I don't know where else many a flower may be born to blush unseen, but certainly not in your garden, because I think you're taking such good care of them.
No, after all,
how many varieties do you have out there?
I have about 500 plants with me.
But how many varieties?
Varieties, maybe about 75, 80 varieties of plants.
They're all hybrids?
They're all hybrids.
That is an interesting view we had, peep show into your garden, Dr. Govindachari. But tell me, how long have you been interested in orchids? I mean, when did you first start cultivating orchids?
No, I used to live in Bombay in a place called Goregaon, outside the city. And it is a big campus with beautiful trees. And on some of the silk cotton trees, there are hundreds and hundreds of orchids blooming. And then in Bombay, there are quite a few people who are highly successful orchid growers. Somehow I got to know them once I got the fascination about orchids. Then exchange of information, exchange of plants, and then getting to know all the finer aspects of orchid growing. Slowly, I got a deep interest in growing orchids. And I learned, of course, you learn by making mistakes. You never succeed in
That's
the
what I
beginning.
wanted to ask you. When it's a question of not only having the satisfactions but the frustrations of learning something new.
No, I know if I had started growing orchids in Madras, I would have been I would have been
More frustrations.
much more frustration.
Yes.
I happened to start in Bombay, which has a very nice climate for orchid growth. There is a long monsoon season extending over 6 months and very cool winters. These were very favorable conditions for growing orchids. Whereas in Madras, most of the species orchids don't bloom at all because the temperature is not low enough in winter.
True. But are orchids commercially exploited at all from India? Because I've heard that, you know, in places like Philippines or Sri Lanka and even Singapore,
Yeah.
they grow orchids for the cut flower market.
Yes.
Nobody does it in India.
Not only for cut flower market, but also supply orchid plants also to growers. Unfortunately, in India, we have had to make a beginning.
Are you thinking of it?
No, I am not. See, I think I'm too old for taking up at my
A
age.
matter of opinion. But probably you're more interested in, you know, retaining it as a hobby as such.
Yeah, I think
Gives
so.
you pleasure.
Because I try to fit it in among other things which I do. This is not my only occupation.
Thank you for giving us a tiny glimpse into your world of orchids, Dr. Govindachari. But in case the viewers want to know a little more about it and want to explore more into this world, I'm
There are-
sure they can contact you
I'm
and
sure
you'll be
they are
willing
all-
to.
They are most welcome because
Tell
I
them
have
more
a
about
joy in sharing whatever little I know with other people who are equally interested.
Thank you so much. It's been a delightful experience.